Hey, this is Jersey. You're listening to the Garden State.
You are listening to The Garden State, the only New Jersey podcast that gives you all the news you need to hear this week. My name is Josh Sobo.
My name is Josh Chomik.
And I'm Jimmy Parks, back once again.
Jimmy's back.
It's like 3 a.m. right now in California where I've been.
You've been in Cali.
I was in California for almost 3 weeks.
Wow.
Did you want to come home or no?
It was kind of like a mixed bag, honestly. I would happily stay out there a little bit longer. I was in Moreno Valleys where we were staying, but I was going to the desert almost every day.
Living the life, Jim.
It was a pretty crazy trip. So
You said, so for the listeners that are just catching up, or if you haven't been listening, the last 2 weeks, Jimmy Park was out of office and he was in California and he's back, which is great. But Jimmy, you were saying earlier to me that you were by the Salton Sea. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was by the Salton Sea a bunch. It was like 120 degrees, deep desert.
Jeez.
Well, you know, like a place is hot when you drive through like a small town during the day and you just don't see anybody.
Yeah.
It's just like...
It's like a ghost town.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of ghost towns out there too, but...
If you could say like the best part of your trip, the number one thing that happened, you have to give us one. What is it?
That's so hard. It was such a good trip. Well, we drove across the country, so that was cool. I've never driven all the way across, and it wasn't until yesterday morning that we were staying in Manhattan Beach for our last day, and I actually finally walked to the ocean, so I made it all the way across.
Yes, you got to do that if you drive across, as we did.
It's so crazy because I've been to that part of California so many times, but I've never driven there, so it's always been like this far off land. So it was very, very bizarre to me to come into California and then start like knowing where I was.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. And it just made you think. We drove pretty much straight through. It took us about 3 days. And it's like, wow, the country's like pretty small.
But at the same time, it's like pretty massive. You're like, this is taking forever.
Yeah.
Like 3 days is like the perfect amount of time to get across. Other than that, it would be like kind of crazy.
It was pretty daunting when we finally got to the point where the GPS said 24 hours remaining. And it's like, okay, we're getting there. But at the same time, I was like, whoa, that's like a lot of driving left.
That was the same thing we felt when we drove back from Seattle a few years ago, me and Josh. Well, that's not a few. That was like, now it's been like 8 years.
Yeah.
Or 7 years, something like that. We did a road trip around the country. By the time we left Seattle, I remember it said 48 hours, I think. And I was like, oh my God.
Like, why did we fly?
If we don't sleep at all, it's going to take 2 days. But
just because like middle of the country is so boring.
Yeah.
Like it's like 12 hours of nothing.
It wasn't until we got into Texas that it was like, okay, this is starting to look different. This is cool.
He went to Cadillac Ranch.
Yeah,
I saw that.
by.
Yeah, I think it's interesting you were at the Salton Sea. That's where Josh and I actually stopped a few years ago. For people listening that don't know, the Salton Sea is a massive, massive lake in Southern California, and it's not a natural lake. It actually was man-made due to an issue in the 50s, Jimmy?
I think it was a little before that. It was
the Colorado River.
The Colorado.
They diverted it by accident.
Breached.
Yeah, there was an accidental, I guess, a breach. And it led to a bunch of water pooling in Southern California and making a lake.
Yep.
So it was a man-made disaster. But then people go, wait a second, this looks beautiful because it's like an oasis in the middle. And if you look at photos from the 50s, it was like the mid-century dream, like this oasis in the desert. And people built vacation homes next to it. So all this information, we didn't know when we went. And we're driving past it in the middle of the desert. As you know, it's super hot. And I was like, what is that lake? I'm going to go jump in it. And we ran on the beach, and there was nobody at the beach. The sand, what I thought was sand, was all fish bones. Yep. And then you got close to it, and it smelled disgusting. And I found out you can't swim in it. And it turns out, for the listeners, all the farmland in the area, they grow a lot of pineapple and other stuff in this part of California. Through the runoff and the irrigation systems of these farms, it all pooled into the lake, and nothing can live in the lake anymore. So it's like a death trap. So it's completely deserted in the area. It's super creepy because if you look at photos from the 50s, it was like all these beautiful vacation homes, and now it's just, I don't know, it's a disaster. It's right near also Salvation Mountain, right?
Yeah, you pass right by on your way to Salvation Mountain. The other thing that I found really interesting about the area is the farmers don't use as much water anymore. Something with their water rights changed, so there isn't as much runoff going into the Salton Sea anymore. So it's getting smaller and smaller because it's not being filled up, and it's in the middle of desert and evaporation and all that good stuff.
So it'll be gone probably eventually.
I don't know if it'll ever like fully go away, at least not in our lifetimes, but it's crazy. You can see how the water has receded over the past 10, 15, 20 years.
What was the, what was like the mineral that there was too much of that was running in? I want to say like saline, or that's not right. I know saline isn't, but like there's something from the irrigation systems there was too much of a density in it that was killing all the fish. Do you know?
I'm not sure.
I remember I
know the salinity of the lake is higher than like ocean water.
Yeah, maybe it was just too salty.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
That's like the Dead Sea. That's why you could float in the Dead Sea and there's nothing living in it because there's just too much salt.
Yeah.
It's like they're just swimming through sand.
California is so pretty, man. When we were driving up, Josh, it just looked like it was gorgeous, the lake, and there's mountains behind it. And it was so beautiful. But then you find out like it's a death machine. It's just killing all these fish and yeah, it was sad to see.
And that's why we always come back to Jersey.
To Lake Apacon.
California's the worst. It's beautiful for like a few days, and then I'm just like, I'm so ready to be back home.
Oh, yeah. I like it. I'm going to go back
Jimmy,
for another 2 weeks.
Jimmy Parks can become Jimmy Parks in California then.
I know. I was thinking about starting a podcast while I was out there. I was in talks with some people.
Honestly, the Golden State? Yeah, Golden State podcast. Golden State.
I thought it was the Eureka State.
Golden State Warriors.
Golden State Warriors.
The basketball team, Jimmy. Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
What's the Eureka State? Isn't that Oregon?
Eureka would be gold, right? Or
California state motto. Let's look this up. Eureka. The state motto.
Not the motto, but it's the state nickname. If you look at the license plate, what's it say?
Nothing. It just says California.
Oh my gosh. It's the Golden State.
It is the Golden
It's the Golden State.
I believe it is the Golden State, but I've never
Yeah, it's the Golden State.
never heard of Eureka.
Gosh.
Hey, so this a lot has happened.
We have
since,
so much to
since
talk about.
Jimmy's been gone, and the first thing I want to talk about. Welcome back to the listeners. We've had just the craziest couple of weeks here. Just 2 nights ago, we actually had a 4-hour slot on New Jersey 101.5 live on the radio.
Crazy.
Nuts.
And it was an experience, man. And before we get into the mailbag fully, because we can talk about our recaps and everything, we got a mailbag about this, and I want to play it for you.
Yeah.
Because it's just really. Have you heard this yet or no?
No,
it's
I haven't.
really, really funny.
I love going into it not knowing the mailbag.
So for the context, last week before we said we were going to go on the radio, and we were like, hey, if you guys could call in and just hype us up, like say, like, hey, thanks for letting me borrow your Ferrari. You guys are great guys. Like, just make up crazy kind of stories. Yep. And people started to do it. But what they didn't realize is when you call into radio, you got to kind of talk on topic. If they're talking about a topic, you got to go into that.
You go through a producer first who a phone
checks
screener. All the calls.
Okay, so listen to this first call, and then this is part of the weekend recap. Check this out.
If you want to call into the mailbag, the number is
908 67 99 99 3.
Hey guys, this is Lou from Booton. I'm listening to you guys right now on 101.5. I tried calling in. I had an elaborate story about how you guys literally saved my life because I was choking on an Italian hot dog at Dickie D's in Newark. But the guy wasn't buying it. Like he was like, well, this isn't really on topic because you guys right now you're talking about what you're cutting back on, because everything's so expensive. The guy's like, wow, we're really... that's a great story, but we want to stay on topic. So I was trying, guys. I was trying to get on and really pump you guys up. I was going to sell it really good. I had a very elaborate story, but they weren't buying it. So sorry, guys. But anyway, this is Lou from Booton punching out. Thanks, boys.
That right there would have been amazing radio. And when I hear a call from a guy like Lou and Booton, it just gives me a sense of Jersey pride. You can't find a Lou and Booton in other states. You don't find them in California. That's a Jersey man right there. Dickie choking on a hot dog from Dickie D's in Newark.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. And that should be clipped for our Instagram, by the way. I think that's a really funny clip. But man, Lou, thank you for calling in. We had another friend a listener that said they called in and they were like complaining about the Atco Raceway getting shut down, and they were just depressed about it, and they said they didn't get through either. So, yeah, I guess the way radio operates.
Cheat code for radio, when you first call, you have to say you're staying on topic of what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Don't actually tell them what you're going to say, and then when you get on the line, that's when you got to say it. Yeah, because it doesn't go through us first. It goes to a producer in a separate room who just checks all the calls to make sure they're legit. So just if you're ever thinking about calling into radio, always stay on topic until you're actually on the air. Then you can go crazy.
So when I was in California, I was listening into the show a little bit, and like I didn't know that you told people to do this. So someone called in and said that like, oh, when I'm down Mays Landing and something happened the other day, and like these guys did something. And I was like, wait, what was Josh and Josh doing down in Mays Landing?
Yeah, he said a guy called in.
Believable.
He gave the most believable story ever. I was expecting people to call in and be like, "Hey, thanks for letting me borrow your helicopter." Like crazy, like, "Oh yeah, that's." He called in and he was like, "Hey guys," he's probably listening right now. He's like, "Hey boys, thank you for saving my life." Oh no, he knows. Hey, thank you for buying me a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese. He said pork roll, but pork roll, egg, and cheese down in Mays Landing the other day. You know, I really needed it. And we were like, yeah, I said something about getting out of our Ferraris to buy it for him. But that was like one of the few. But it was, I don't know, radio phone conversations are so funny, dude.
It was amazing. There's so many crazy people calling in.
So, yeah, I enjoyed being on the air again. I thought it was fun. It was cool to get some phone calls. I just thought that call from Lou was hilarious. Josh, what were your feelings as you were on the air? You did a couple ad reads. How did that feel?
I just wanted to do an ad read because, like, when you're listening to talk radio, you always hear like the host say like read an ad. So he wanted us to read the ads to get used to it. And like I always like naturally like I stutter very easily when I'm reading things. So I was like I'm kind of nervous. I don't want to do it. But he's like, who cares if you mess up? It's fine. Like you just got to get used to doing this on the radio if you want to do it more often. So I did 2 ad reads. Josh did like 3. And it was like the best part. Like I didn't stutter once reading through it. And it was like such a sigh of relief right when I finished. I was like, I did that. And I'm trying to find the show. Like I want to listen back to it.
Yeah.
It wasn't on their website yet.
Oh, maybe they don't upload the evening show?
No, the evening show is not uploaded. So we got to get it from our inside sources at 1015. But like I kind of want to put some of that stuff in here so like you guys can hear it.
I was going to say, when we came back on air and you read that ad, because the way that ad break works is you read the ad and then it goes back into I think it was the top of the hour or middle of the hour. He was like, wow, you were enthusiastic to read that one.
Heck yeah,
because Chomik was like standing, I'm sitting because
I couldn't sit. I was just so hyped.
The way the studio's laid out is there's like 4 mics around this massive table, and you can sit, you could stand. You know, the mic obviously is on an adjustable arm that can go up and down. Chomik's standing, and like he looked like Eminem rapping like the like the final scene in 8 Mile. Like he was going crazy behind this mic, and the guy was just like, "Oh, you were pretty excited to read that ad," and then he just kept moving. Radio's funny though because I don't know. I just think there's so much behind it that we just don't have to do in a podcast. It's just us.
It's a lot of work.
There's a lot going on.
A lot to learn. And what's hard about radio and talk radio is like on the podcast we could just have a conversation for an hour and a half straight, no problem.
Yeah.
On radio, you have like an ad break every 8 minutes. So like say you start getting into a conversation like 7 minutes in, you're like, oh, we're finally starting to vibe. We're having a great time with this conversation. And then by the 8th minute, you're cut off because it's like, we got to go to ad breaks.
Yeah.
So that's what I don't like about radio. It's just like there's advertisements left and right and everyone's got to make their money. I get it, but.
Yeah. I mean, podcasting's cool. It's cool because we're just 3 guys hanging out at 6 a.m. right now, talking life.
Yeah.
Talking shop.
No one's bothering us. It's a beautiful morning.
Thank you, Lou from Booton, for calling in with that message. That was
a beautiful mailbag.
Pretty awesome. And have we been to Dickie D's? Is that the truck?
We haven't been to Dickie D's.
No, Dickie D's. Why do I feel like I know? Let me see.
I just always hear about Dickie D's, and we should definitely.
I've never even heard of it.
We should have gone because that place is legendary.
What in the world? We'll have to stop by. That's a really good story. And shout out to Booton, by the way.
Heck yeah.
So other than that, Jimmy was in California living his life for 2 weeks. You had your Kramer moment. Did you watch? You know,
of course.
You remember that?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Kramer.
You just asked him if he watched Seinfeld. You are crazy.
My brain froze for a second.
You guys
I
are
forgot
the ones
Jimmy.
always talking
we
about
talk about it all the
Seinfeld.
time. I don't know why, but yeah, Kramer when he's out rollerblading in California. That was Jimmy's moment.
Yep.
Did you get accused of any murders?
I did not.
That would have been interesting.
You almost got murdered, though. Can you share that story?
Yeah. So me and my 2 friends who I was out there with, we were hiking on this trail. It wasn't even that far off the road. There's this cool old metal bridge, and there was a like rail trail that goes up to it. So we walked over to it and whatever. We hear we think there's kids like playing in the background or something. We hear like screams, but it wasn't like a I'm dying scream.
You heard screams?
It was just like someone yelling.
Okay.
But it sounded like kids yelling. You know, like when kids are like playing.
Yeah.
So we start like walking back, and then all of a sudden this person who is like very visibly not okay on drugs like appears. And
older, younger?
30s maybe.
Okay.
And then starts yelling, do you have water? And my friend goes, yeah, we can get you water. And then again, I need water. And we're like, oh, okay, like give us a second here. We got to go to our truck and get some water for you. And then out of nowhere, forget my name, give me all your money.
Oh my goodness.
Just saying that to you?
Yeah.
And was this man, woman, child? So this lady comes
like,
out of the woods and
completely like insane, like
and
all disheveled.
So she came out of the woods.
Yeah.
And is trying to hold you guys up for some money or
that's why I'm so.
Wait, did she have any weapon on her?
She had a bag. I don't know what was in it, but it was just like,
wow.
It was a very, very bizarre experience. So we just kind of,
remember that Visit California commercial where they show all the things around the state, like paragliding and the Jonas Brothers and all this cool stuff. Imagine you made a Visit California ad where it cuts to like a crazy lady coming out of the woods and holding you up for money.
Honestly,
and
that's California.
A guy in San Francisco pooping on the street.
but we're like, so we ended up throwing water at her, went back to our truck, threw water at her.
Threw water at her.
Yeah. I don't know if she made it.
Like a wild animal, you just tossed a bottle at her.
And what, did she just went running, or like did she follow you guys?
There's a lot that happened, but
well, I want to hear that part. That's the part that listeners want to hear too. Are you allowed to say it or no?
I don't know if she made it, to be honest with you.
What do you mean she made it? What
died?
She died?
Jimmy, what are you saying right now?
What?
She started like violently like throwing up and like.
Oh my gosh!
Really?
Yeah. Like,
I thought you were like. I thought you like. Meant like
oh my god!
I thought you meant like she went into the woods and you guys were just like, I don't know.
No. So
did you guys help her?
A call.
They're like, yeah, we're leaving. See you later.
Did you call the police?
A call was made.
Okay.
Nice.
A call was made.
But it was just like the most bizarre experience of my life because it was like, first you're asking us to like help you and give you water, and then like you just turn like that and like are telling us to give you all.
Everyone's so many crackheads, dude, out there. It's just,
wow, that's
it's
crazy.
A bad place.
But it was like 100 degrees out. Like this lady obviously wasn't doing well.
Jeez. Well, I'm happy you're alive.
Weird.
I'm happy you're back home, safe, no issues.
Yeah.
You look a little disheveled over there. Hopefully,
Jimmy,
we might have to get him a therapist or someone to talk to. I don't know.
You're one of the few guys I know that can spend 2 weeks in California in the 110 degree heat and come back with just a slight little bit of color on your face.
Yeah.
Were you putting like 80 sunscreen on every day?
No, I did not. But what's crazy, I looked at myself in the mirror today and I'm like, whoa, I'm pretty tan.
You're so happy.
Remind me,
this is like the darkest I've been in so long.
Sunshine today. It's beautiful.
You're Irish?
I'm like a bunch of different stuff, but yeah, I think I have some Irish in me.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're like tan for like an Irish person. It's like me as a Polish person. When I get tan, it's like,
I'm like
slightly tan.
So to my understanding, I'm Polish, but it was before Poland was Poland. So,
oh yeah. Well, so Eastern Bloc, the Eastern end.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, hey, why don't we get into the actual mailbag and before we get into the news, because we got a.
We have another mailbag.
Yeah, I wanted to do
Let's go.
I wanted to do an actual mailbag because this one was a good question. I think it'll prompt some conversation before we dive into the news. So if you want to call in, you don't have to click it again. The number's 908. I just want to read it. I feel like I haven't read it in a while.
I know. I like reading it.
908-67-99-99-3.
Call in. Leave a message.
What's going on, guys? This is Nick from Somerset County. Got a question for everybody on the pod. I would love to know if you had to pick your last meal of your life and it had to be from New Jersey. I want to know for each of you what that meal is and what restaurant in New Jersey it would be at. Very curious. Keep up the good work, guys. Take care.
Like I was like very serious.
That's a really good. It's a good question because at surface level, I'm like, and then I was thinking, it'll actually tell the listeners a lot about us.
Yeah,
like with the spots we like to go to.
Yeah, definitely. It's the last meal of your life. He's asking.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cheat on this one because I'm gonna do dinner and dessert.
That's fine. That's part of the meal.
I guess you're right.
Yeah, you're allowed
two different places.
Yeah, 2 different places. Okay. I got to think about dinner a little bit more, but I think at baseline. Well, hold on. If it was going to be like pizza, which I don't think I'd want my last meal to be pizza.
No shot.
Yeah, that's way more complicated.
I'm gonna have a Taylor ham, egg and cheese with home fries on it, on a roll from Clark Way Diamond. That's just,
Oh, wow.
just my go-to. It's such a perfect Taylor ham, egg, and cheese. Might get a side of cheese fries and a Pepsi, and that sounds like the perfect meal to go out to. Sign me up.
So White Diamond, you're gonna smell like death before you even die.
I'm gonna die. Who cares what I smell like?
You walk in that
it's
place.
glorious. That's the best Taylor ham, egg, and cheese I've ever had.
The smell of oil from White Diamond lingers on you for weeks after you leave.
Yeah, bro. When you're at the foot of my casket, you're gonna be smelling some White Diamond.
That's a really safe response. I feel like that's a safe answer, a very on-brand answer.
What's
for
a
the
dangerous
podcast.
answer if that's
Well,
safe?
like a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese is like to be expected from a Jersey podcast.
I mean, it's so perfect.
I think I'd go. Man, that's really hard.
Jimmy, do you know?
So it has to be from a restaurant. I'm assuming. It can't be like, oh, my mom's thing.
I
Okay,
mean,
so-
it could be your mom.
No,
if that's what you want.
No, I'm gonna go. I'll go with. I'm gonna just go with pizza. I mean, I'm
From
trying
where?
I'm trying to think of like an actual meal. I'd probably do a pie of one of those sausage pies.
Okay.
And this is not my favorite pizza spot in the state. Actually, no. I think what I would do is the Old World pie from Sun Tavern in Roselle.
Yeah,
Love
Roselle,
that.
that's a good one.
With the
Okay.
vodka sauce on
Yeah,
top.
with the wings on the side.
I had that last night.
Okay.
Fire.
So that's if you like specialty pies, that's probably the best pie in the state.
So good.
It's the Old World. It comes with the vodka sauce.
Yeah.
You have to ask for the vodka sauce
And
on
the
top.
wings there are like sweet. There's something about them that's like
So it's a
just-
perfect little
oof.
mix.
And then for dessert, I'd take a drive to Newark and I'd go to Nosto's and get me some tiramisu. The best tiramisu I've ever had in my life. And I'd call it a day. That'd be a great, well-rounded little day. Now, I know there's like good restaurants in this state. You can go get like actual. I'm trying to think of. I'm drawing a blank, but that'd be a pretty solid.
Yeah, I
goodbye.
would have to think more into it. This is kind of put us on the spot, but like that Taylor ham, egg, and cheese is the first thing that comes to mind for me.
I think that I would do in the same vein as you guys, not like a super fancy meal. And I think I'm saying this only because I haven't been there in a long time and I've been craving it for the past 2 weeks when I was in California. Turf and Surf Burger in Warren.
Wow. You haven't been there in years.
I know, it's 6 years
What
probably.
burger are you getting?
I think I used to do like the bacon cheddar inside out burger.
Yo.
From where?
That's dangerous.
Turf and Surf Burger.
Oh, that's the name of the
Yeah.
place, Turf and Surf?
So I haven't had that in many years
It's
either.
that good?
Oh, it's so good because all like the cheese and stuff was
No,
inside the burger. It's just like
So you're saying that's the best burger in the state then?
probably.
Wow.
It's a very bold statement. Is it the best burger? Who knows? To Jimmy Parks, it might be.
Exactly. My
it's
last
it's
meal.
a great burger. We have to go back.
I
It's
know.
been so long. That's a great spot. I forgot about that.
Let's go today.
Before we get into the news, we want to let you know about our office. A few weeks ago, we officially moved into the Vintage City offices in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and this is our new studio space, and it has been absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen, go on our Instagram, check out the space. We have a neon sign and this amazing wall behind us, and it just feels good. It feels good, right, guys?
Awesome.
Feels
So
amazing.
if you want to learn more about where we're working from, you can go to vintagecityoffices.com/Garden State. That's vintagecityoffices.com/Garden State. Maybe you have a small business, you do construction or real estate or whatever, and you're looking for your own office space. There's plenty of offices here that you could work out of, and we'd highly recommend it. They've been very good to us here, and yeah, we just want to let you know about it.
The best.
It's the best. It's the best.
It's the best.
I just want to throw that in there.
Love it.
Boys, now let's get into the news.
How about we just get into it?
New Jersey police are on the hunt for a woman who threw a skee ball at a child.
What's going on in these arcades in Jersey, bro?
Well, skee ball is a frustrating game all around. I mean, I've never done well at skee ball, and I could understand why you'd want to end up throwing one of those balls at somebody because it's just I've never gotten the skee ball in the top slot.
It was always my favorite game.
Yeah, it was a fun game.
It's a great game, but I've never gotten like the top one. Have you ever gotten it in there?
Yeah.
I've gotten there a few times.
Maybe once in my life.
I think that's part of your problem with coming from a big family. You got a whole line of kids who want to play skee ball.
Yeah.
And
I just
don't
think
have
this
time.
story goes deeper than skee ball, guys.
Yeah, maybe it's
I
not.
think something went on behind the scenes that we don't know about.
When I was a kid, my dad found us a skee ball machine at a yard sale.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is
So you
it-
had one at home?
Was it full size or one of those mini ones?
I was little. I really don't remember it much, and I think you know how moms are. They're like, we don't need this. Let's get rid of it. But it was in our basement for a while. We'd play skee ball. It was really
Oh,
awesome.
that's awesome.
But
That's a dream.
Yeah,
What happened to it? You guys threw it out?
It must have been thrown out.
Oh my gosh. That's
it
a
was
relic.
Really cool. All right, so let's get into this story. This is out of Cape May, New Jersey. Shout out to Cape May. Police are looking to identify a woman who threw a skee ball in a fit of rage, injuring a child. The woman in a white dress became involved in a disagreement at the arcade, according to the Cape May police. In a surveillance video clip released by police, the woman is shown at a skee ball game with a child. She takes a ball and makes a hard underhand toss to the left of the machine. She continues to show the game to the child when a young woman hands the small softball-sized ball back and points out that she hit someone. So I guess she threw it to the left. I don't know. The video is kind of weird. She threw it to the left, and she kept going like she didn't realize she hit somebody. The woman shrugs her shoulders and continues playing. A man begins talking to the woman, who walks away from the machine with the children as the man cups his hands to his mouth and says something. Police did not disclose the name of the arcade, the date of the incident, or the extent of the child's injuries. So they're looking for this lady.
Could she have just been just like a terrible, just throw? Like she just completely missed. Maybe she was just so excited, and maybe this is taken the wrong way completely.
Well, you want to see the video?
I saw the video. It's kind of hard to tell, but was she aiming at someone? That's the question. Was there someone there that... Was she someone chirping her or something? It's a very interesting video. If you guys haven't seen this, search it on Google. It's everywhere. It's a tricky video to follow.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch it again right now. The issue with these articles online is they always hyperlink to Facebook. It's just download the video and put it in your article, for goodness sakes. But it's really hard to tell what's going on. I mean, I don't think this lady was...
Is that a photo of the guy talking to her below that?
Yeah.
Oh, so what? He probably got into the mix. He's like, why are you throwing this?
He's like, what's up? You threw a skee ball at my kid.
Why are we throwing skee balls?
Yeah,
maybe she's just very unathletic and she just doesn't know how to throw a ball. Or maybe she actually just wanted to hurt a child. It could have gone either way.
She's playing with her kid, though, which is why it's kind of weird. It'd be weird to be playing skee ball with your kid.
Yeah.
And then try to hurt another kid. For what reason? Yeah. Oh, yeah. She totally just is terrible at skee ball. Watching it again,
might be trash.
No, she was just terrible at skee ball. She threw it and missed. The way they said she threw it left made it sound like she was throwing it like if I was looking at you throwing it directly in my left. She threw it at the machine and missed left of the machine, and there were people behind the machine. She hit a kid.
We'll never know. We'll never know until this is actually brought up and they actually catch her. Are they looking for her?
Well, they say
is this an active hunt?
They're looking. This is kind of dramatic. I'm not going to lie.
This is so dramatic.
So the Cape May Police Department detectives are looking for your advice. They're looking for you to contact them. It's 609-884-9507. It's kind of ridiculous.
If you've been to an arcade and you've seen skee balls just flying all over the place, this lady might have been there. So
that's crazy. I mean, to me, seems a little dramatic, but maybe she was not polite about it when they came and confronted her.
We need an eyewitness who was on the scene to know if there was an actual confrontation, if there was someone chirping her. Was she angry? Was she upset? Was she just shaken up? What actually went down in this arcade? Because the video is just no audio, so it's very tricky.
I'd like a skee ball technician to call in.
I would. Wow, that's kind of that's a hard find. I think it might be very rare that a skee ball technician might be listening to this podcast.
Well,
I would love that though.
So, do you guys know that skee balls are a blend of wood and sawdust?
No.
So that makes them less than half a pound, but they're kind of heavy.
Huh.
I was
So
about
wait,
to say they feel pretty heavy.
Is the inside filled with sawdust?
I think it's compressed sawdust and wood.
Oh.
And it's 3.25 inches in diameter.
So
pretty
it's
interesting.
Basically particle board in
Well,
essence?
I guess, kind of, yeah.
But hearing that makes it sound like it's not that heavy, but getting hit in the head by a skee ball must suck.
I wouldn't want to.
That stuff is pretty heavy.
We should do an experiment where I throw one at your head.
We should get a skee ball machine in this new studio.
Oh, that'd be sick.
We won't have any space for anything, but who cares because it's a skee ball.
Yeah.
I think there's room behind
I
me
don't
over
think there's
here.
any room. The length in this room is not big enough. For a
We
skee
can make
ball.
it work.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, I doubt anything comes of this
Was
story.
this in you said this was in Cape May or this is Wildwood?
This is Cape May.
Where arcade in Cape May is this? Are you aware of this spot?
Yeah, on the boardwalk. There's a small, short boardwalk in Cape May. Have you ever seen the convention center in Cape May?
I've actually never been to the Cape May boardwalk.
Well,
Me
it's
neither.
not. So Cape May, if you go to the beach, there's a long stretch of concrete that is technically a boardwalk. It's not like Wildwood where
Just no boards.
Yeah, so just some shops and stuff.
It might actually be made out of wood. For some reason, I envision in my mind for it to be concrete, but maybe just the edge of it's I don't know. But yeah, so there's a Cape May Convention Hall, which is huge, and they do conventions down there. And then there's a few small arcades on the boardwalk. So actually, the dude from Top Gun,
Tom Cruise.
No, Top Gun and the drumming movie. What's that movie called?
Drumline.
No, the drumming. He's a jazz drummer.
Oh, Whiplash.
Whiplash. What's that actor's name?
The teacher.
No, the guy that's in Top Gun and the young guy.
Miles Teller?
Miles Teller, yeah. Miles Teller grew up going to Cape May, and I read an article where he talks about spending a lot of time in his childhood in these arcades.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
His mom was like, their parents were in real estate, and they lived in Cape May for a bit.
Today I learned.
The more you know.
And
he was there last summer while I was there at the Ugly Mug. So, okay. Let's move on to the next story.
We get it. You're friends with Miles Teller.
We hung out.
How many more clues do you have to drop?
Oh man, this next one is going to be a shock to the boys. This is very unexpected. Another dead whale has washed up in Long Branch, New Jersey this week. A dead whale washed ashore on Tackanassie Beach Saturday evening, sparking concerns and interest from onlookers and forcing police to block off portions of the area. So for the listeners at home, if you're living under a rock, we've gone through the last year where whales have mysteriously been washing up on the shore. And I mean, maybe it's not mysterious to some. It's caused a contentious debate between two groups. One group of environmentalists that say climate change is pushing whales into shipping lanes for boats that are coming, and there are more ships going through these areas than there used to be. And then the other side says it's, which I guess is also semi-environmentalists, are saying that it's due to wind turbines being built off the coast of New Jersey. They're doing all this testing underwater. Just, I guess it's kind of like core sampling, the Earth. I might get that wrong, but there's sonar testing underwater, and they believe it's messing with the whales, and that's why they're dying. So this has caused a massive debate in the state of New Jersey.
We've become like, Josh sent me this article, and I was just like, I feel like there's been so many whale deaths, it's becoming so normal that like people are starting to stop. The people are not reporting on these things anymore just because it's becoming so normal. And that's what's so weird about this whole entire debate.
Yeah. And here's what the article says. And I have a really interesting thing I want to bring up at the end of this. Well, I'll get to it. So it says in the article, when a recently dead whale washes ashore, experts look for wounds, lesions, and injuries. Experts with the Marine Mammal Stranding Center of Brigantine and the Atlantic Marine Conservation Society plan to perform a necropsy and collect tissue samples, Stranding Center staff said on Facebook. So when these whales die, they got to obviously try to figure out the cause of death. Some of these whales have had cuts on them from being hit by boats, which is, I think, always been a thing that happens to wildlife in the sea.
Yeah.
Is they get hit by the propeller of a large vessel, or by the vessel, I guess, itself, and it injures them and they die. Whale deaths have been increasing in recent months, with at least 11 previous cases documented off New Jersey since December 1, 2022. At least 12 dolphins also died along New Jersey shores. The most recent incident occurred when a deceased humpback whale was found floating in the Raritan Bay on May 31st. The 28-foot-long female appeared to have died from blunt and sharp force trauma consistent with a vessel strike. So that's one of the situations where the whale had an injury on it, which is what a lot of these scientists are saying. That's the one side of the argument. But then there's whales that don't have the markings on them, and they're wondering, how did this one, possibly wash up? So it's obviously very, very divisive. So this brings us to the wind energy offshore. It says some opponents to the offshore wind farms blamed the activities of the survey boats, such as sounding the ocean floor, as the source of injuries to the whales. Federal and state authorities such as NOAA, Governor Murphy, and the State Department of Environmental Protection, however, have said that there is no link between wind farm activities and whale deaths, and we can trust them because, the government has long-standing history of not lying to people for financial gain. No, sorry, I'm not going to say that. We can keep moving. You can probably figure out, you can leave that in, I'm joking, but you can probably figure out how I feel about the situation. Because here's the thing is, I'm very skeptical.
How do we know the whales aren't doing this to themselves? Whale wars.
Whale wars?
Whale wars. What if they're just killing each other?
Maybe it's gang on
Has
gang
that
violence.
been considered? How about shark attacks? Have sharks attacked the whales in the recent months?
No, well,
we'll never know.
Well, they would know if it was like a shark attacking a whale, because it'd be ripped apart probably, because that's the only way a shark could kill a whale. But the what it really comes down to is, does the sonar testing have anything to do with these deaths? And there's a lot of the reason I'm skeptical, and I think as a citizen of the state of New Jersey, you should naturally be skeptical, is because there's a lot of money being thrown around to build on these offshore wind projects. And I think that at least Governor Murphy's office has a vested interest in these turbines going up, because it is, I think, a legacy project for him. And here's where the part that I think is going to be really interesting is now actual journalists beyond the state of New Jersey are getting involved in the conversation. There's one guy, Michael Schellenberger. He actually ran for governor of California. I think when they had that referendum on Gavin Newsom, he was running. And he's making a documentary currently.
Really?
Yeah, he's making a documentary on this. And this is not like some small one-off guy. Like, this guy's he's been on Joe Rogan, I think. Like, he's awesome. A popular personality. It'll probably be a Netflix documentary. Or it'll be, we'll see where it ends up. But he's making a documentary, and he's claiming that the government is not being honest about their research of investigating these deaths. I watched an interview with him last night in preparation for the story. And one of the examples that he gives is the first one is the sonar tracking. He says that their claims of the sonar tracking being, I don't know if it's decibels that you measure sonar in. I doubt it's decibels, but the levels at which they're testing are much higher than they're claiming. And he actually went out to the sea with his crew and put the machine, the instrument in the ocean to test the levels, and you can hear it. It's very, very loud. It's pretty interesting. But the other point he makes that I think is even more compelling is he says he specifically believes that NOAA, which is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, is not being honest, and members of Congress shouldn't trust them. He's saying he's bringing evidence before Congress and not to NOAA, because he believes members of Congress need to be looking into NOAA and what they're doing. And the main point he makes is that last year, a senior scientist at NOAA sent a letter regarding the potential extinction of whales along the Northeast due to this project. And he said that the letter was completely ignored by NOAA, and there was no explanation as to why. And I actually have the letter. I found it online. You can, for the time being, it's available online. You can look it up. I doubt that this letter will be available for long, but you can look up North Atlantic Whales NOAA letter, I would just say, by this guy, Brian R. Hooker. And he is a lead biologist for the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management. And I'm going to find there's one snippet in this that was really interesting. He said the development of offshore wind poses risks to these species, which is magnified in the southern New England waters due to species abundance and distribution. These risks occur at varying stages, including construction and development, and include increased noise, vessel traffic, habitat modifications, water withdrawals associated with certain substations, and resultant impingent entertainment of zooplankton. So that's just a snippet of a 4-page long letter that he wrote. Well, actually, it's 3 pages and 4th page is citation. But his point is he believes that this could cause the extinction of whales. Now,
I haven't heard about this letter. That's crazy.
Well, that's why the documentary will be really interesting. I'm clearly biased because, to me, from a common sense perspective, I look at it and I go, it just seems kind of crazy to build things in the ocean. So that's I admit my bias. I'm not going to act like I'm a total neutral on this. I think naturally I'm skeptical. But I'm interested to see the documentary, because who would have thought that a lead biologist at NOAA is coming out and kind of sounding the alarm.
When was this letter?
This was May of 2022. This was in the heart of all this. Yeah. He was writing this. And so the reason I'm skeptical is because, again, this is a massive financial project. Yeah. Like very, very large. And I think, again, there's just when money gets involved and ego gets involved for political leaders to have these big projects happen, I just think that there has to be such a level of, accountability, I guess, on people. And we'll see what the documentary says. Maybe he comes out with some information and some bombshells. Maybe it's nothing. But I found it to be really interesting.
Did he say when it's going to be coming out or when he plans on finishing it? Because it should be soon, so it doesn't become irrelevant. But how could it be irrelevant if whales keep on washing up? So I guess it's fine.
I mean, I think these are long-term projects, these wind turbines. But no, it doesn't say. But yeah, he said he's making a documentary on it. I saw an interview. He filmed an interview. Let me see. Let me pull this up really quick. This interview was, I think, last week on the topic, 2 days ago, on the Hill. So yeah, it doesn't say when it'll come out, but I'm interested to see now that this is becoming a national conversation rather than just a regional Northeast conversation between New Jersey, Connecticut, Long Island, and like these Northeast states. To see a documentary come out that could potentially be national or even global, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
I'm pumped for that, man. That's going to be awesome.
But maybe it's
I'm so interested to just see like what his findings are and like what comes from it.
Yeah, but I will say on the flip side, there are more ships traveling in these areas, so there could be merit to the fact that whales are going into shipping lanes. We'll just have to see what happens. We're not experts. That's why I think it's to hear a letter from an expert, and then from our experience of reaching out to all these people, and they all don't want to talk to us in spite of, I don't know. I got a tinfoil cap on, and there definitely is some of that in this. I think there is some conspiracy from my perspective going on, but it could just be everybody's totally solid, and I'm just being a conspiracy theorist.
I know. I think it has something to do with the wind farms, definitely, and that's why everyone is so uptight about it. That's why I'm just curious because like everyone's so uptight about this whole entire thing. So like there's something weird going on, and that's why like we don't go too far into it because we don't want to go down that lane. But like, come on. There's something weird.
I don't know, but
here.
then that's when I get insecure because I haven't devoted my life to research. This article is saying that this is the issue with, you read an article and they're citing certain biologists, but why aren't they citing this guy? Why aren't they citing a lead biologist for NOAA? They're citing the other one. So it's like, that's where my brain has been broken with media and news and everything in the last like 3 years. I feel like is I don't know who you're supposed to trust. And everybody has an agenda. Whether you're a professor at Rutgers University or whether you work for the Asbury Park Press, shout out to Asbury Park Press, or whether you work for the Garden State. Like we have an agenda, So it's like if everyone has an agenda, and I don't know what our agenda is, I think it's just to be funny and build a podcast, but like everybody has a vantage point, everybody has a bias, and naturally that leads to people drawing their own conclusions. So
I just want to say, you saw that video we got on Instagram, right?
No, which one?
The guy saying we should be burned alive.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah, I don't want to go into it, but I just want to say, like, people really don't like. There's some people on the internet who get pissed about the Garden State, like what we're doing, and we're just like, we're just reading articles, sharing our opinions. But some guy was just like, "You guys are like white Nazis, and you should be burned alive." We're like, "What?"
He didn't say like. You just made it sound kind of cute the way he said it. Like, you should be burned. He was like, he still called us fascists that are. He said like all this stuff about us. I'm like, none of this is even true. But
dude, it was amazing.
And then he said I think he said we're spreading hate. And then he promptly went on to say that we should be burned at the stake, which is like, I mean, I don't know. That sounds kind of hateful, my guy. But
I told Josh, I was like, we're gonna see this guy in some headline coming up. He looks like fits the profile.
Probably. So, all right, let's move on to the next story here. This is regarding voting specifically at school board meetings. A portion of New Jersey residents are proposing lowering the voting age to 16 for school board meetings.
Okay, tell me more. When I was 16, I didn't care one thing about school, but I bet there are 16-year-olds who really want to, try to change the way their school's running. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it says a movement is growing in the Garden State that would permit 16-year-olds to vote in local school board elections. Organizers of the Vote 16NJ initiative claim not only will lowering the voting age benefit the civic well-being of the state of New Jersey, but it will tremendously increase the state's crippling vote turnout. A Change.org petition was first posted in April 2022. Since the movement has been slowly growing. It has the support of Westfield Councilman David Contract, who supports giving kids a greater voice in the governing of the schools they are attending. Supporters of the Vote 16NJ say giving 16-year-olds the right to vote in school elections would be the perfect complement to those classes. The group also touts data that shows voting in just one election makes a person 25% more likely to vote in the next election. Essentially, they say you are creating a whole new generation of voters who are engaged in the process from a very early age. The road to lowering the voting age has been a long one. Since launching their petition more than a year ago, the group has been struggling to get recognition. The issue has drawn the attention of New Jersey Assemblyman Raj Murkari, who says he is drafting a bill to lower the voting age. So under Murkari's pending legislation, municipalities can lower the voting age. So
I mean, like, I'm kind of split on this. I don't know how to feel, honestly.
really?
Part of me is like, give the kids a voice, cool, let them vote and stuff. But the other part of me is just like, where I stood in school is like, I don't care. I just want to be a kid who goes to school. I want to be a kid. I don't want to be an adult yet.
I think
I'm going to wait till 18.
I think this is the most stupid idea
That's why
we've talked about on the podcast
dude,
in forever.
That's why, bro, when I was like, all right, I'm going to be a kid until I'm 18. When I'm 18, I'm an adult. That's when I'm going to start voting. And until then, I'm a kid. I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm not going to worry about politics within the school district. That's what the adults are for.
Dude, we're living in a time where teenagers have more issues with mental illness. And I'm not saying mental illness should prohibit
Don't let
someone.
the mental ill
No, I'm not
vote.
saying it should prohibit you from voting, but we have different issues facing this generation than their ability to vote. I mean, if anything, we should be raising the voting age because we're realizing people's prefrontal cortex isn't developed, at least for men, until you're 25. So it's like you have all these immature people that don't have a clear view of the world making major decisions. I mean,
I think it's like, what, less than 1% of kids in the school district who actually would probably vote, who care. Most kids are there just to go and do school because they have to be there.
I think that they should make, like, school systems should make certain issues available for kids to vote on. Like maybe it's stuff involving, hey, should we paint a new mural in the hallway? That kind of stuff. Let minors vote on that sort of thing. But whether it's, distribution of funds, I don't think it's appropriate. I think it should just be make a section where voting is interesting, and you could use an issue that's fun, that kids are like, hey, I'm going to show up and vote.
Is there a certain district trying to do this, or is the state in full?
Well, they said people from Westfield are trying to make it happen. So Union County,
because they're probably not getting the votes they want. So they're like, let's get the kids to vote because then we're going to get what we want.
That's where you start going down the funnel, the tinfoil funnel.
Yeah.
Well, I think Raj is from Hudson County, I'm pretty sure. So maybe, and he is trying to take it to like a state level.
It's very interesting.
I think
they're like, the parents, man, we can't get the parents to change their minds. Now let's get the kids who we can mold in the classroom to vote on what we want.
I think it might be popular like the first year, but I think slowly it would kind of fade out.
With what? Kids like wanting to vote?
Yeah, like it's a new cool thing, and then
you don't
just
think
kind
they
of
push
forget about
it? You don't think they like really push it? Be like, wow, you guys can vote now. Like everyone get ready. Voting's coming up.
I'm going to say the thing that nobody's going to say out loud. We're living in a time where teachers have come under fire. Parents, this has become a national topic, I think, within the conversation in American life is, how much freedom should teachers have when they're talking to kids? There's all these hot topic buzz issues that keep coming up, whether it's like the gender thing or whatever. And I think if you're going to have, if you were to say 16-year-olds, would they be more likely to agree with teachers or their parents? I think you're going to have a lot of 16-year-olds that would probably side with the school boards or their teachers and think that their parents are out of touch and idiots. So if I know this is like I'm drawing conclusions that aren't in the article, but I think that to me it sounds like an easy way for school boards to get votes that are going to align with their propositions rather than these parents that are showing up because we've had an outpouring of parents showing up to school board meetings out of nowhere, and I don't know. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe not. Maybe that's just me. That's just a possible thing. But I think if you're 16, they should find a way for them to engage in that civic duty of voting without it being, budget related. I think smaller things like, hey, should you have a, hey, we're going to vote this week on, should you be able to have, what's that thing, the senior night where you go out and you celebrate? Project graduation. Like, where should project graduation be this year? We're going to have a vote. Make sure you make it out to the school board meeting.
I think it's a cop out when they said, this is a perfect completion to those classes where they're learning how to vote, to actually let them vote. That's such a weak cop out, I think.
Well, so why can't a school, like let's say Westfield High School, because we're talking about Westfield. Why can't Westfield have an internal voting process that encourages kids to vote? Why does it even have to go to the school board? Like, I'm giving dumb examples, but I'm sure let the kids be kids.
I'm pretty sure
Let the kids be kids.
I'm pretty sure when I was in elementary school, we had like a voting day when we actually used like the real voting machines and voted for something.
They taught
That's
us
so
how to
cool.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we weren't doing actual voting, but like they taught us how to do it. Like we didn't need an actual election to do it. So
It might have actually been for like our like class election.
oh, for like student body.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you're
Yeah.
right. We actually did do that.
I think the reality is 18 is the legal age in our society where you become an adult. There are situations in which 16 technically could be looked at certain ways.
Well,
but
that's why their argument is, oh, kids drive at 16. Why can't we have them vote at 16?
Yeah, but you're not able to join the military when you're 16.
Yeah.
I mean, 17. I think you can do it with the guardian signature. You can't drink alcohol till you're 21. So why don't we raise it to 21? You could make a bunch of different arguments, but generally we agree 18 is the age in which you're an adult in our society.
I'm just saying, man, let the kids be kids until 18. Let them have fun.
I think
let's not throw them into politics.
I think the heart is right, though. I like the idea of getting more people engaged in voting. I think.
That's why they have their classes to learn how to do it.
Yeah, but people don't vote, and it's crazy because every election cycle you see all this money pumped into getting people to vote, and it's like a third
here's
of
the thing.
Americans
So
vote in the presidential election.
So on the flip, based off what you're saying now, do you think this is a better way to get people? I think that's what the article was saying. If they start voting at 16, will that get them more interested to vote when they're when they're older, like in actual presidential elections?
I don't think the means justify the end. You don't change the way the law works in order to achieve some better outcome in the future. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, what I mean, does that make sense what I just said?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're saying, well, let's adjust the law now so that we could get a good outcome down the line, but that doesn't make, I think you still have to operate the way we're
that's all. Yeah, that's what the article said. So
yeah. So I could see both sides of it. I just don't, I
just don't think a 16-year-old is ready to just make decisions like that. Let them be kids until they're 18.
What do you think about what I said before with the parents? That sound like a stretch.
With as far as what?
Regarding the fact that schools have come under fire from these parents that are showing up, and there's all these. There was a conversation in Virginia where they were calling parents domestic terrorists because they're showing up. Did you hear about that?
So stupid.
So it's like there is this.
They don't want parents to parent anymore.
Like if you're going to frame this in the context of what's happening in our culture right now, we have just gone through a year or two of parents being really aggressively involved in school board meetings. And that's aggressively, I don't mean like physically. I mean, just like they're being active for sure, an uptick for sure. And I'm wondering if you frame it in that context, is there anything to it? Maybe not. Maybe I'm just drawing conclusions. I'm trying to be fair. I always try to be,
Yeah, we're just stating our opinions.
All right. So why don't we keep moving on here?
I feel like if this actually does happen, it's going to take a very long time. Like it's not going to be a decision that gets changed overnight. So,
all right, moving on to something a little bit more lighthearted. The state of New Jersey has ordered Boston markets to stop operation across the state.
I don't know what you mean by lighthearted. This is heavy. This is breaking, bro. They're trying to shut all of them down.
They're
not
Have you
paying
been
their
to
workers.
Boston Market?
I don't think I've ever been.
I've never been.
Really, guys?
I always thought Boston Market like sold rotisserie chickens in ShopRite in my brain. Like that's what I always thought of Boston Market.
What they sell like fish, right?
No, it's like a chicken spot.
They have like
really?
rotisserie chickens and stuff. Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was always like a seafood place.
Dude.
Maybe that's why I've never been.
Gosh.
Jimmy is allergic.
I used to go
seafood.
to Boston Market when I was younger. And I haven't been in a long time.
So this is an interesting one. The New Jersey Department of Labor issued 27 stop work orders to Boston Market locations throughout the state on Monday, August 14th, saying the rotisserie chicken franchise owes more than $600,000 in back wages to 314 employees.
It's messed up.
These people aren't being paid.
Pay up!
And the NJDOL shows up and they're like, "Hey, we're shutting you down."
Wait, when they order a stop, what is it called? A stop work order?
Yeah.
Does that mean like these Boston markets have to halt immediately, or like how intense is a stop work order?
I'd imagine
Because the Boston Market down the road still pumping out rotisserie chickens at the moment. Yeah.
Which one?
The one on 22 in Blue Star, right?
You saw it still going?
I think so.
Maybe. I think this is like a harsh stop. I think they got to stop.
You think they actually stopped? I thought they were open.
I mean, it says Boston Market has appealed the stop work order. The New Jersey Department of Labor said aside from the $607,000 owed to employees, Boston Market owes $1.2 million in liquidated damages an administrative fee of $182,000 and $549,000 in administrative penalties. So they owe a lot of money to a lot of people right now.
Why aren't they paying up? Are they not making any money?
They're not paying the money, and it said the NJDOL said it will continue to monitor the Boston markets where the stop work order has been issued. So maybe, because it doesn't sound like it was all of them, 27 stop work.
I think that's all of them in Jersey.
Yeah, that's interesting. So the one in Blue Star, let's see.
Yeah, type it in right now.
Boston Market.
Blue Star. Wait, is that Mountainside?
Mm-hmm. Blue Star or in Union?
No, not you. Is that you? No, that's
Boston Market.
That's Scotch Plains?
Maps. Let's see where it comes up. I don't know which one you're talking about. There's no Boston Market in Blue Star, dude.
Dude, that shut down years ago. There used to be one.
There's a Boston Market.
It must have shut down.
In Union.
Wait, what the heck is that on 22? Hold on. What's in Blue Star?
I don't know.
Oh, that's Wajong. Wait. Oh, there's an Arby's there. There used to be a Boston Market there, though. I got Arby's and Boston Market confused. I think it's the red logo or something.
Dude, Arby's literally has the meats, and you're talking about a chicken franchise.
Dude, there used to be a Boston Market there, I swear. Or something like that in that area.
I'm interested to see if any of our listeners ever worked at a Boston Market. Call in, leave a mailbag call for us.
Are they ripping you off? Are they not paying you your money?
I'd love to hear an inside take.
I want to know why they're not paying their employees or why they owe all these wages.
Probably poorly run business, and they're probably in debt.
But they've been in business forever.
Yeah, but things fall apart over time, you know. This is why businesses go out of business.
Look at like Sears. They were in business forever.
Yeah, Sears is a big deal. So
still hard to believe.
Shout out Kmart.
Yeah. All right.
It's very sad. If you're a Boston Market fan, man, I'm sorry to tell you that these Boston Markets might be shutting down. So hopefully they can, pay their workers and come back to business because there's some good rotisserie chickens.
If you want a rotisserie chicken, just go to Costco.
Go to King's. All these spots got good rotisserie chickens. Or Costco. Yeah, they're so cheap.
$5. All right. It's actually cheaper than the chicken itself to get a chickenette.
You dark meat or like white meat guy?
I bounce around. Probably white.
Jimmy?
Dark.
Dark all day.
Yeah.
I need that juice.
Nice. Moving on.
Great response, Josh. Nice.
All right. So this next story is dark. A 71-year-old New Jersey man has confessed to murdering his wife and staging a home invasion.
So this guy pretty much killed his wife and then said, "Oh, we got robbed. Someone killed my wife."
Yeah.
And this guy thinks he can get away with it.
Yeah,
We've seen a story like this before.
Michael J. Manis killed his 72-year-old wife, Judith Manis, on Friday, August 10th, but he didn't call the police to their home at 110 Hamilton Avenue until 5:01 p.m. Saturday, they say. Claiming he'd only just arrived home, Manis told the 911 dispatcher that his wife was deceased and that she was possibly beaten. Hasbrook Heights Police Detective Nicholas Brunetti wrote in a criminal complaint. Manis also falsely reported that there may have been a robbery at the residence, the detective noted. It just sounds like this guy was speaking like he crafted a statement. There was a robbery at the residence. But maybe that's just the police report. They took his words. Then they called the Bergen County Sheriff Bureau of Criminal Identification to collect evidence and the county medical examiner's office to retrieve the body. Judith Manis was pronounced dead at 5:47 p.m., the records show. The scene was secured and her husband was brought in for questioning. Michael Manis voluntarily admitted to using a pillow to suffocate his wife, Brunetti wrote, in the complaint filed in the Superior Court in Hackensack. Thereafter, she became limp and unresponsive, so he smothered her with the pillow, basically. Manis admitted during the video recording interview that he ransacked the room, including hiding the victim's jewelry in a basement ceiling. He also removed other items and tossed them into the trash bin behind the West Ridge Muse condo complex off Hackensack Ave and Woodridge.
I like how he hid her jewelry in the basement ceiling. Like, our investigators are not going to find that. And then he goes to Woodbridge to throw her stuff into a dumpster. And this guy does he not realize that the Bureau could find all of this out? That, they could find it out even if he tried lying.
Yeah, there's got to be some mental illness involved in this situation. Because
especially if you're like murdering your wife by smothering her with a pillow. That's just brutal. Like a slow death.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't get why people do this stuff. And I know you can't get inside the mind of somebody that murdered. You don't know the situation and yada, yada, yada. Your life is over. And there's no way you're getting away with murdering your spouse.
Yeah.
Like, your
Yeah,
life is
trying
over.
to say it was a robbery? Come on. You got to do better than that.
You know what soundbite we need to get on the board? What murder?
Yeah, that's exactly when you said what murder earlier. I thought about that.
Can you remind me to get that?
Yep.
Because I'm going to forget. But yeah, it's just, it's senseless.
It's very sad. Like, why do you want to, like, honestly, why are you going to murder? Just murdering someone in general, your wife or just a random person, just murder is wrong and awful. And like, this whole scene just sounds awful. It's a nightmare. That poor woman.
Why not just get a divorce at that point?
Right? Like, literally, you have to be mentally ill to think you're going to murder your wife, stage a robbery, and get away with it.
Yeah.
Really? Like, I don't know, man. Like, every week, we can't get into the mind of these people who are nuts and out of their minds.
It's really, man,
just frustrating, dude.
it's really crazy.
Terrible situation. Prayers to that family that are going through this right now and just probably all in shock.
I wonder if they have any kids too.
I know. I hope not. Because that just makes it even worse.
All right. So let's move on to this next story. Another death involving the ocean. A New Jersey woman was killed in Atlantic City after being struck by a boat while swimming.
Dude, you're swimming and a boat comes and just strikes you.
Yeah.
Awful way to go.
She was 79 years old. So I'm wondering, maybe she couldn't get out of the way fast enough or what.
But why was she swimming where there was boats?
Jimmy, 79-year-olds could swim.
Wait, there's boats?
But it said she was near a dock.
Yeah,
so
like in the bay or something.
Know.
Yeah.
Maybe was it the guy driving his boat too close to the dock, or was she swimming too far out?
Well, here you go. Listen to this. So a 79-year-old South Jersey woman was struck and killed by a boat as she swam near a floating dock off the coast of Atlantic City over the weekend. Troopers were dispatched to the crash just after 5 p.m. on Saturday in the Intercoastal Waterway near the Albany Avenue Bridge, according to the Marine Service Bureau officials, and reported by 6 ABC. A preliminary investigation revealed that a 20-foot Robalo boat struck the victim, Norma Michaels, a vintner, who sustained fatal injuries. According to the report, the boat's operator, 52-year-old Jeffrey Jastrzemski,
Good job.
Polish last name, of Atlantic City, remained at the scene. He was not injured. Several patrons at the nearby Wonder Bar reportedly witnessed the crash, claiming the boat operator was driving erratically, according to a report from Breaking AC. One man told the outlet that the boat operator parked. He tossed items into the water that appeared to be cans or bottles, then ran off of his boat.
No way.
Yeah, and around the front of the house he parked behind. So the crash remains under investigation. It is not clear if Jastrzemski will face any charges. He's going to face charges.
Oh, yeah, dude. This guy's definitely, just wasted, just driving his boat like a madman near a dock and then just ran over a woman.
Well, here's the thing. See, the eyewitnesses are going to ruin this for him. I was told recently by a law enforcement person who is just a random law enforcement person I was talking to. I know we know a lot of people. I don't want to make it sound like it's someone, just a random person that I encountered. And they were talking about, instances where people drive under the influence. And if, like, let's say you crash your car while someone's driving drunk, they crash into a telephone pole. If you get out of your car before calling the police, go to your house and leave the car there, and the police come to your house, they cannot try you for driving under the influence. Because legally in court, you could say, well, he was in his house, even if he smells like alcohol and is drunk, he could have crashed his car, went home, and just drank a bunch of alcohol.
What if someone saw you get out of your car, though?
That's what I'm saying is, well, that might even, if they can prove that there was something there.
Or if they filmed it.
Well, they could prove that you crashed the car, but they can't prove that you were drunk, is what I'm saying.
Oh.
So they could say you just crashed your car and abandoned it, which I don't even know what the crime would be in that situation.
So are you saying if this happens to somebody to leave the scene?
So what I'm saying is, no, I'm not saying you should if you drive. It might, listen, not to be dark. I believe my grandfather died in a car accident. I believe it was a rainy night, but I believe the other person was drunk driving.
Wow.
So like you think about this sort of thing. It's sick when people drive drunk. It's so stupid. I don't get it. But in this situation, it says he threw bottles in the water and then he ran around the front of the building. It sounds like he was trying to do a situation where he knew he committed a crime. He wanted to flee the scene to possibly protect himself from getting tried for driving under the influence.
I mean, like, how do you even take the time to run around the building with all that stuff after you just ran over a woman? Or maybe do you think he didn't realize he ran over a woman? You got to realize. that you just hit a woman
What
with your boat.
murder?
Hey, bro,
That's why we need a soundbite.
I guess at that point, I've never murdered, someone. I don't know what you guys, but I guess in that moment, say you actually do, and like, obviously he wasn't trying to kill someone that day, but he did. I wonder if in the moment of shock, you're just like, you're not thinking straight. You're just like, I'm just trying to get out of this as best as I can because I'm already deep enough in trouble.
I don't know. Jimmy, what do you think? I'm just throwing it.
Jimmy, you almost got murdered this weekend.
I know, right?
You might have some better insight on this story.
Oh, for stars, I think Chumbick has murdered someone before, but
I agree with you. That's so weird because he has been doing a lot of weird stuff
Guys,
lately.
no. You're not going this direction on the podcast because people are going to start guys, we have a lot of people listening to this podcast. We're not going to make it sound like I killed someone. Someone's going to clip this. Someone's going to clip it being like, to make it say, I killed someone. I hate the internet. Go, Jimmy, continue.
I killed someone.
I killed somebody.
I lost my whole train of thought.
That's fine.
Do you think, what do you think about the situation?
I think it's a lot like these whale deaths, getting hit by boats.
Shut up.
Yeah.
You're just comparing a 79-year-old dying by a boat, but to a whale.
Jimmy,
same thing.
I got to say,
Wow.
I have so many intrusive thoughts. I think we all do. Everybody has a thought, whether it's a joke that you're like, I shouldn't make that joke. Every day I have thoughts that come into my mind. This is a 79-year-old woman who is probably someone's grandmother. Like if it was my mom, I would be so heartbroken.
Yeah, we'd be.
But I'm going to be a liar if I say that my brain did not immediately draw that connection to these articles. And there's a lot of subject matter.
The whale deaths and this woman
getting
hit by a
shipping
boat.
lanes.
But this guy wasn't in a shipping lane. He was just erratically driving.
But there's just a connection there.
You guys are awful.
No,
you guys are dark.
There's nothing comical about it. That's the point. Look, we're humans, man. We all have thoughts.
We all crash our boats into, people here and there. Mean, people make mistakes, right?
This guy is, I'm going to say off the rip, he's going to jail. Do you have it? Nice.
Been waiting to use that all episode long, baby.
Gotta go.
All right, listen. Our last story of the night. It's literally 6 a.m. right now.
Oh, Josh.
So used to saying that. Our last story of the podcast is maybe the most amazing story we've ever reported on.
It's like a superhero story.
This story is so absurd that it made national news. This is out of the New York Post this time. We're not going local this time. In Sayreville, New Jersey, residents were without power this week after a fish fell from the sky.
What?
Yeah, the fish are flying these days in Sayreville.
What? Okay. A seagull, some sort of a bird, was carrying a fish.
You sure it wasn't an eagle?
No. They said it was actually a, hold on. Let me get this right. The right kind of.
A bald seagull.
Hold on. Bird of prey.
Hawk? I wouldn't consider a seagull.
I saw some turkey vultures the other day.
Yeah, what is it?
Scary.
What's like a seahawk, Jimmy?
It's a Seahawk, right?
I don't think there's such thing as a Seahawk, is there?
I thought it was like the football team.
Oh yeah. No,
Seahawks.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
You ever Google a Seahawk?
I've never Googled a Seahawk.
Yeah, look it up. It looks like a Seahawk.
Give me a second here, guys.
Yeah, I don't think that's a real bird.
Oh, it's a fake bird.
So it doesn't say the bird. This is a bird of prey, right? So
it's just a bird.
A bird was carrying a fish that it was about to eat, drops it. The fish slaps into a transformer and knocks out power in Sayreville.
I mean, that drop, the thing about the timing, this bird is flying. He had to have dropped the fish the perfect time for it to hit like a electrical cable.
It's like a Dude Perfect video.
I know, exactly. Like that would take like 100 tries to get the perfect shot. And this bird just nailed it.
A fish dropped out of the sky by its bird captor caused a power outage for a section of homes in a New Jersey town, officials say. There's a large area of lower Sayreville without power, and Jersey Central Power and Light is reporting that a fish was found on a transformer. Crazy. The fish destroyed the transformer, the Sayreville Police Department posted on its Facebook page on Saturday. The incident occurred Saturday, according to the police, who speculate that the bird of prey caught a fish and dropped it on a transformer, causing damage. Sayreville is located about 30 miles south of New York City on the Raritan Bay and the Raritan River. The hypothesis is that a bird dropped it, Sayreville police say. So we don't even know that a bird dropped it. There's
Yeah, I was
no
about to say,
video footage of a bird dropping it.
It's just a theory. What if this is deeper? What if someone actually, we have a suspect. What if someone brought the fish there and just, wanted to knock the power out?
And what are the odds that the fish bounces and lands again on the train? Like, there's so much that went right in this story.
I know. It's too perfect. It might be too perfect.
Flying fish?
Jimmy?
It could have been a flying fish.
You know how I am with conspiracies, Jimmy. Let's not open that
first
can
the
of
whales and now flying fish. The Garden State's crazy, dude.
So 2,100 Sayreville customers were out of power for less than 2 hours, and they confirmed it was caused by a fish dropped onto a transformer. So the police department posted a lighthearted follow-up post on the matter Saturday evening. It included a suspect sketch of the bird and a crime scene photo.
It's too cute.
Here's what it says.
It's too cute.
Today's power outage was a major inconvenience for so many of our residents. Please let us not forget the victim in this senseless death. Gilligan was a hardworking family man. Let's talk about the fish. The department posted post quipped about the dead fish. He was a father to thousands of children. That's pretty funny. Hey,
I think that's a cover up right there. Cops are trying to be too cute. Yeah. So I think someone dropped off that fish.
You got to see the crime scene photo. It's just a dead fish on the ground with a police line.
Dude, that's a beautiful thumbnail right there.
Oh, that's so funny.
Honestly, you think that fish tasted good? You think it got a good after getting cooked up right there?
I don't know, but they did sketch. They did a suspect sketch of the bird.
I don't like the sketch because they never even saw the bird.
It was an osprey.
They said it was an osprey.
That's what they sketched at least. They
could have been
an
a hawk.
osprey.
It could have been like a turkey vulture.
Man, this is the perfect crime.
It could have been a man.
If you wanted to inconvenience people, this is the perfect crime. Slap a fish on top of a transformer.
It's genius.
But what's really amazing is that the fish was still there.
And cooked.
Jimmy.
So I'm reading this
Jimmy's
article.
Like rubbing his head. He looks like you're in deep
because
thought.
I found out that Seahawks are ospreys.
Oh, that's like a nickname for them?
Yeah. Commonly known as ospreys.
That's why you thought they didn't exist.
They are truly awe-inspiring predators to see in person.
So an osprey is not like a seagull. It's a bigger bird, huh?
Yeah, ospreys are pretty cool. They mate for life. We have a few of them in the Garden State.
Oh, Jimmy, we never talked about what you want to talk about in the opening.
I know.
We should. What happened? You should have brought it up.
I forgot about it.
What was he going to talk about in the opening?
The call last week where the caller called me out saying that there's no mountain lions in New Jersey.
Can we make a clip out of this and I'll preface it for our viewers? So last week while Jimmy was away in California, we got a phone call from a listener who said that not bobcats, is it?
No. Well, so there's bobcats in New Jersey.
Yes.
That is a known fact. We're talking about mountain lions.
So mountain lions, 3 weeks ago, Jimmy said there are not mountain lions in New Jersey. Anybody that says there are
not
are sorely mistaken. They're mistaken. They're looking at bobcats, and it's a story of people that's drumming up information. Then this guy calls in and goes, "My dad has a Christmas tree farm." Jimmy Parks is wrong. And Jimmy's not here to defend himself, which was unfair on our part. We should have had you here.
Yeah.
No, it was hilarious.
You should have called me in.
That.
Anyway, he then goes to say, well, you can't believe the state because they say that there's no porcupines in New Jersey, but there really are. You go on to the Fish and Wildlife website, right there it says that porcupines live in New Jersey. So really this guy's argument is flawed. Now, I did a lot of talking to a lot of people.
And you called your people who know people.
Jimmy knows people. That's all I'm going to say.
Jimmy knows people.
I called my people. I called my friend who has lived up by Stoke State Forest her whole life. And I said, are there mountain lions in New Jersey?
What was the answer?
Hold on. Say that again. Say that. Oh, you asked her again?
Are there mountain lions in New Jersey?
And what did she say back?
She said, as a child, she could have swore she saw one once, but she does not believe that there is any permanent population that lives in New Jersey.
Okay, so
she said maybe passing through. You might
Okay, so we do have them. They're passing through,
but they don't live here.
But they pass through.
The only reason why I'm saying this is
there are mountain
because
lions.
I didn't say there's mountain lions, but there is documentation that a moose wandered down to New Jersey in the 80s.
Wait, what does it have to do with a mountain lion?
Because it's another random animal that doesn't live in New Jersey. So is it possible that one got lost?
Jimmy,
Yes.
I love you so much. You're a true friend. You have so much knowledge, but you had me thinking you were going to grill this guy. And that story left me feeling a little bit Because I thought you were going to come in and go, this idiot. Who, by the way, we followed his Christmas tree farm. I'm definitely getting a tree from him now, especially since he knows more about the bobcats than you.
Are bobcats in the same family as mountain lions? I forgot what you said.
They're in the feline family, I would imagine. Everything.
With the cat family?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like a lion is.
I think we got mountain lions, though. I still think we do. Because if a mountain lion passes through Jersey, what's stopping the mountain lion from stopping here and making a family?
It's a good point. I mean,
boom, roasted.
I think Jimmy.
New Jersey. We got mountain lions.
No, I think Jimmy's right. I think they're not a population here. But is it possible that one somehow goes on a journey and walks through Stoke State Forest? Possibly.
And then you also have to think, right? Does someone have one as a pet? Thought it was like, oh, it's kind of a cute little cat.
Well,
and then
that's
it gets
unlikely.
too big. Well, no, it's not unlikely because this happens every year. People release their alligators and crocodiles in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So cool.
Anything's possible.
I'm looking up mountain lion baby, and I gotta say they're pretty cute.
Looks like a baby tiger. Same thing.
Dude, I would love a baby.
Little baby
I would love a
feline.
tiger as a pet,
Also,
like Mike Tyson. Oh
if
my
you really
goodness,
wanna
they are
get
really cute.
into
mountain
the
lions.
conspiracy theories here.
What?
So back in the day, there used to be this adventure theme park in northern New Jersey that was operated by like MGM or someone like that.
Oh, wait a second.
And
I see where you're going.
the theory was when it shut down, they just released all the animals into the hills of New Jersey.
That's awesome.
That's like folklore.
What year are we talking?
The 80s, I think.
That's
I don't know.
so
I forget.
cool. Hey,
What was it called? This
that's
place?
very likely.
Hold on.
NJ Wildlife Park shut down 1980s.
Jungle Habitat.
Oh yeah, that's what Mr. Morris was telling me about. Our friend's dad. He was saying we have to go explore it because there's still remnants of it there.
So the theory is
There's really nothing left anymore.
So the theory is they shut down and they let the animals.
Into the woods in New Jersey.
What was like the most exotic animal they had?
It was an African safari theme park by Warner Brothers.
So the theory is there could be giraffes that were released into the woods of New Jersey.
Yeah.
Elephants.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What if do you think a giraffe could survive in Jersey?
No. Winter.
Why? What's wrong with winter? They need warm weather.
They live in Africa.
I'd imagine they don't have the functions to survive a harsh winter.
Dang.
Maybe they do. I don't know.
But why aren't there giraffes in Florida? Real question.
I think it's
Serious question.
I think there could probably be if we relocated them.
Yeah.
Just like there's alligators there, right? And there's crocodiles in parts of Africa and the Nile and everything. I think that I'm not a biologist. Again, I always like to hedge my bets, but I think they probably could build a habitat with giraffes, but I think they're landlocked to Africa.
Do we have any giraffes at the Turtleback Zoo?
Yeah.
Really? How they live in Jersey then?
They have an indoor house with the most hilarious door ever. You got to drive by. They have this one door that's like 5 feet wide.
Do they have to like duck hunt?
No. It's like 5 feet wide and it's like 60 feet tall.
That's
it's like
awesome.
this weird long door that they walk through. So we do have giraffes at the Turtleback Zoo, but I don't think they can
survive the winter.
What I wonder is, do we have wolves in New Jersey? Like real big wolves?
Jimmy?
I don't know.
Because that would
You're Jimmy Parks. You know these things.
They would be the apex predator, right?
I don't know.
Easily a wolf.
I feel like a wolf will just take out every other animal in the state. So I don't think we have wolves. Are foxes in the wolf family or no?
I don't.
What family is the fox in?
Canine, isn't it?
Wolves are not found in the wild of New Jersey.
We should release a pack of wolves.
We should release a pack of like alligators or something like that.
This is very confusing. It says wolves are not found in the wild in New Jersey. Next sentence. But they can still be found in at least several acres of Warren County, along with bobcats, lynx, and foxes.
What?
So I don't know what that means.
Has there ever been a spotting of a wolf? And like that, wolves kill people.
Oh, there's a wolf preserve in New Jersey.
Makes
That's what it's saying.
sense. Yeah, there's no wolves in the wild.
Lynx are really cool. I would like to release a couple lynx around New Jersey.
Is a lynx in the tiger family?
It's the cat family. I don't know.
Are lynxes like? Will they destroy you?
I think they're pretty dangerous. They're kind of goofy looking.
Wait, what's the
Look at this.
difference? Oh, whoa! I was about to ask what the difference between a tiger and a lynx is, but that looks like a different
Well, lynx
shape.
they're really small.
Are they more rare than tigers?
I don't know. A lynx is any 4 species of the medium-sized wildcat genus lynx. So I guess
That
there's
didn't
different.
really explain it But good for me.
So that was the end of our episode, guys. We are down the rabbit hole, but I'm just glad Jimmy got to speak his piece to this gentleman. Jimmy, we're gonna go to his Christmas tree farm this year, and you'll get to shake hands with him.
I don't know.
Jimmy has his own Christmas tree farm. He works
I'm pretty
He's
loyal
very
to my
exclusive.
Christmas tree farm.
Oh man, there's beef. I like the first Garden State beef. All right, and with that, any closing thoughts? Any closing remarks?
I'm just very happy that Jimmy Parks is back in the presence of the Garden States.
Yes, Jimmy,
and
welcome back.
we're not out here.
That's right. And
We
we're
are
doing
not out here. We're doing it. And we got some nice merch, Josh.
We do
If
have
you want to
merch.
tell the people where they can get some merch, like that's my closing thought.
If you want to slide over to thegardenstate.com, how do you like the way I said that? Do I sound like a boomer?
I mean, like, yeah, if you want to slide or if you want to maybe skate on over, jump.
Now, is
Flip.
that www.thegardenstate.com?
It'd be
HTTP.
https://www.thegardenstate.com.
You add the S after HTTPS?
For security, obviously. We're a secure website.
You don't need to add the S though, it'll still work.
Yeah, but
Just letting you know.
Just letting people know that we're a secure website.
TheGardenState.com, get your merch. We got a lot of nice things in there. So
Yeah, go buy a
check it out.
t-shirt, support the cause. We gave some, I will say, a little bragging point. We gave merch to Dennis and Judy. And the talk, I don't know if they were just hyping us up, but the talk at the
yeah.
office, they were like, the office was amazed over how high quality your guys' stuff is. And I was like, yeah,
that's what we do.
That's why we
right.
get hate for the price on it, because we make quality merch that you're going to want to wear, not a cheap Gildan t-shirt. It's actually nice quality stuff over at thegardenstate.com. Every purchase supports the pod. And with that, we will see you all next Friday.
Later.
Bye.
Later.
You're listening to the Garden State. The Dirty Jers.